The skies above Washington, D.C. were shattered on the evening of January 29, 2025, as tragedy unfolded near Ronald Reagan National Airport. An American Airlines CRJ-701, carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, collided with a UH-60 Black Hawk Army helicopter. The helicopter, with 3 soldiers on board, was on a routine training exercise. The collision occurred at approximately 9 p.m., casting a grim shadow over the nation's capital. Debris rained down upon the Potomac River, where the mangled remnants of both aircraft eventually came to rest. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, but the catastrophic nature of the collision left little hope for survivors. First responders, battling the darkness and the icy waters of the Potomac, worked tirelessly to locate survivors. Their efforts soon shifted to the grim task of recovering the bodies of those lost. The crash claimed the lives of all 67 people on board both aircraft. As investigators began piecing together the events leading to the tragedy, a nation mourned the loss of 67 lives. The final moments of American Airlines Flight 382 and the Black Hawk helicopter, designated Army 19er, are under intense scrutiny. Air traffic control recordings reveal a series of routine communications, followed by a chilling sequence of events. The American Airlines jet, en route from Wichita, Kansas, was initially cleared to land on a longer runway at Reagan National. However, controllers asked the pilots if they could accommodate a landing on a shorter runway. The pilots agreed, setting in motion a chain of events that would have devastating consequences. Less than 30 seconds before the collision, the air traffic controller instructed the Black Hawk helicopter to pass behind the approaching jet. There was no response from the helicopter. Seconds later, the 2 aircraft collided, the horrifying sound of the impact echoing across the Potomac. Investigators are now focusing on why the helicopter pilot did not respond and what factors contributed to the loss of situational awareness. The investigation will delve into these critical factors to determine the cause of this catastrophic collision. As dawn broke over the nation's capital, the full extent of the tragedy became horrifyingly clear. The wreckage of the American Airlines jet, broken into 3 distinct sections, lay partially submerged in the icy waters of the Potomac. The helicopter's shattered remains were also found in the river. Recovery crews, working tirelessly in frigid conditions, faced the daunting task of retrieving the remains of the victims and collecting vital pieces of evidence. Divers navigated treacherous currents and zero-visibility conditions to locate and recover bodies. As of January 30, 2025, at least 28 bodies have been recovered from the Potomac, including those of the 3 soldiers who were aboard the Black Hawk helicopter. Investigators have launched a meticulous search for the black boxes from both aircraft. Section 4. Faces of Loss. Remembering those lost in the skies. The 67 lives lost in the Reagan Airport collision represent a diverse cross-section of humanity, each individual leaving behind a unique legacy. Among the passengers on the American Airlines flight were 6 members of the Skating Club of Boston, returning from the 2025 U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Wichita, Kansas. Teenage skating prodigies Jenna Hahn and Spencer Lane, their dreams of Olympic glory tragically cut short, were accompanied by their mothers. Also on board were their coaches, Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov, former world champion pair skaters. Their loss has sent shockwaves through the figure skating community. The crash also claimed the lives of several other Russian citizens, highlighting the international impact of this tragedy. One story that has captured the nation's attention is that of a young couple, returning home from their honeymoon in Kansas. Each victim leaves behind a void that will be deeply felt by those who knew and loved them. Section 5. A city in mourning Washington reacts to the disaster. The tragic collision near Reagan Airport has cast a pall over the nation's capital, leaving residents grappling with shock, grief, and a profound sense of loss. In the hours following the crash, a steady stream of mourners gathered near the banks of the Potomac, laying flowers, lighting candles, and offering prayers for the victims and their families. Local officials have expressed their condolences and pledged their unwavering support to the families of the victims. Mayor Muriel Bowser addressed the city saying, "We are a city united in grief. Our hearts are heavy, but our resolve is strong." The crash has also sparked renewed concerns about aviation safety, particularly in the densely populated airspace surrounding the nation's capital. Residents are demanding answers and accountability as investigators work to determine the cause of the collision. The city, united in grief, is now faced with the long and arduous process of healing and remembering. Section 6. Investigating the unimaginable. The search for answers. In the wake of the devastating collision near Reagan Airport, a team of seasoned investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, has descended upon the crash site. The investigation will delve into every aspect of the tragedy, from the actions of the pilots and air traffic controllers to the mechanical integrity of the aircraft involved. A key focus will be the air traffic control recordings from the moments leading up to the collision. These recordings will be meticulously analyzed to understand the sequence of events and any potential miscommunications or errors. The black boxes recovered from the depths of the Potomac will be analyzed to extract vital flight data and cockpit audio recordings. The NTSB is committed to uncovering the truth behind this tragedy and making recommendations to prevent similar incidents in the future. Section 7. Echoes of Tragedy. Remembering Past Air Disasters. The tragic collision near Reagan Airport evokes painful memories of past air disasters that have claimed countless lives. The crash, the deadliest on American soil in over 2 decades, serves as a stark reminder of the inherent risks associated with air travel. The 2009 crash near Buffalo, New York, highlighted the dangers of pilot fatigue and inadequate training. The 1982 Air Florida crash into the Potomac River underscored the importance of proper de-icing procedures and pilot decision-making in adverse weather conditions. Each of these tragedies has driven improvements in aviation safety, from enhanced pilot training protocols to stricter aircraft maintenance standards. The goal, as always, is to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again.